Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me on a beautiful morning here back at Topaz Detailing, because today inside is going to be the completion of my SLS AMG Black Series. It's been here at Topaz to get the paint protection film installed, which means later on today, hopefully while the sun is still bright and shining, I'll be able to get the car out for a first drive on the roads in Mystic Blue. That means today the car is going to be finalised, everything's going to be completed, the interior will be done, we'll also see the front flics being reinstalled, the badges going on, the number plates, all those kind of things to get it completely ready and finally transformed. Today then, here at Topaz, let's head inside and see how it's looking. And yes, I am here at the moment with the Supra, which to be honest is pretty much in need of a Topaz treatment itself. It is currently filthy, but we will worry about that later on. For the time being, let me head straight inside so that we can go and see how the SLS is coming along. And well, I'm quite excited to finally get it out. Hopefully it is going to be nice weather still later on. I think it might be a bit cloudier, but we shall find out later. Here it is again, and how good does this car look? Of course, it was resprayed up at Chartwell to change it from the grey into Mystic Blue, but now here under the lights at Topaz, the entire bodywork has paint protection film installed. All of the painted body panels, from the bonnet to the front bumper to the wings, the doors, the roof, you name it. All of the small details as well, things like the door handles, all of the carbon fibre, the door mirrors, the side blades, this piece up at the front splitter. But you will notice there is something that is currently wrong about this car. Something is missing. We are very shortly though going to be installing the badges on the rear. Around the front we've got the number plate pin now in place. Of course it did previously have an extra bracket sitting on front of that. My plate will go straight on, just looking a touch tinier I think overall, but you will notice then that it is missing at the moment the front flics that sit around here, the canards. Of course they've been templated out. Those are actually being re-lacquered so that when they go back on they have a completely perfect finish just from a couple of chips. I hadn't requested them to be done before, but the guys here very kindly are helping out with that. Of course the wheels are going to be going silver, I've said that a few times. Today we're going to be going through the interior, but lots of people had noticed and commented that the rear had no badges. The rear did not have the Mercedes star in the centre, which of course is going to go on in silver, and it also gets an AMG Black Series badge on this side and the SLS badge over on the other side, so those will go on very shortly as well. But all of these different pieces, all the shapes, all have protection film over the top of them, things like the diffuser, just to help it and protect it going forwards from getting scratched or anything happening to my lovely paintwork that of course I've paid a lot of money to have done in the exact colour that I wanted. And now it's going to be staying looking perfect forever. So let's get these badges installed then and crack on with what needs to be done today. One more thing quickly, you might remember back here the car previously had a bracket to hold on the number plate plinth. In fact, for the German spec it would have this as standard, holding on the number plate holder, which would have the plate itself inside. But here we're going to be able to stick that straight on, so that had to be removed, which has been done since I last saw the car. Also back here we've got the original side sills, which I upgraded to carbon fibre, also the mirror caps, and then the box of all of the badges. Now when I picked up the car when it was grey, it originally had a satin black Mercedes star, which I've replaced with the bright silver one. It will also get the AMG Black Series badge on this side, the SLS badge over on the other, and I'm looking forward to seeing the silver badges against the dark blue paintwork, which I think, like the exhaust tips, are going to look pretty good, so we will see those in just a moment. There is a process behind this, in fact quite a nifty trick. So of course the boot lid already has paint protection film on it, but a second layer is going to go on, which is specifically used as a template. In fact, you can just about make out exactly where the badges are going to go. Now there was a choice to be made. The badges could have gone straight onto the paintwork using this template to go around them, or you could apply the template and then end up sticking them on top, which just gives a slightly cleaner appearance. So given I had the car painted and I had that option, I decided to do it this way, made that decision. So this will go into place, which will basically then help to precisely position the badges exactly where they should be going, which I guess makes it all quite easy at the end of the day, relative to just trying to take a wild stab in the dark as to exactly where those will go. So this will be fitted, held into place, and then it's going to be installation time. The first badge then, SLS, which by the way is a historical lettering from Mercedes. It stands for Super Light Sport, or at least the German equivalents of that. And this will go on right here. The badge has a backing on it, it's been warmed up, and this means it is time to be very carefully put into position. Very, very carefully. Only got one shot at this, of course, and then it is going to be installed. And there we go, small details, but one of the ones I've been waiting for, having the proper badging onto my car. SLS, silver badges looking nice against the blue. There is of course a little bit more to the process. The panel is cleaned with IPA, heated up, both the badge will be heated up as well. And again, we have the outline here for AMG and the Black Series badge, which actually comes separately. So the AMG badge goes on first, and then the Black Series badge will follow it, which comes with this pre-backed setup, so it's nice and easy. This is actually surprisingly exciting for me, to have the AMG badge installed onto the car. Of course, in the time I have owned this car, it has never had that. It has never been properly badged as an SLS AMG, and then it's still waiting for the Black Series badge, which just loops underneath. But that is looking cool, silver against the blue. Right choice, if you ask me. Next up, the removal of the second layer of film. Of course, the underlayer will stay on completely, but we now have our SLS and AMG badges in place. Nicely done. Obviously, it now needs to get the star in the center. And then there's something I need to tell you about the Black Series badge in just a moment. And now the big one, the three-pointed star, the Mercedes emblem, which literally presses into place in the center quite firmly. And then that, I would say, is a badged SLS AMG. Well, we seem to have a little bit of a pickle, something unplanned about this. Let me show you exactly what is going on. So we've got the AMG badge on the boot lid. In my hand here, I have the Black Series badge, which you will notice has those little markers so that it can only go in one position. However, this is what happens when we fit it to the car here. You will notice the shape is not entirely correct. And the reason for this is because AMG actually changed the angle of the badge. This is a newer style badge, whereas for the car, I needed to get the older one. So I do need to get a new AMG badge so that we can make it a proper badge Black Series. Small things, but for the time being, I don't think that's going to be going on. Unfortunately, I'll have to get a new one of those ordered and get that changed around at some point soon. And now comes one of the finishing touches, getting the number plate on straight. Of course, SH62MEE, SHMEE for Shmee, of course, 62 for the 6.2 litre naturally aspirated V8, and down at the bottom, the best or nothing. One of the quotes from Gottlieb Daimler. Daimler, of course, the founder of Mercedes as we know it now. One of the finishing touches, looking good. We are going to get a little bit of a cold start, just to shuffle the car back a moment, but that means... I love that bark, that snap that you get from it, sounds so phenomenal. What a deep rumbly V8. And that's the stock sound. Titanium exhaust, remember, from factory. So we won't be necessarily changing the back box, but I think we can change some of the system within. Time to move on to the front, and of course the Mercedes star that sits on the front bumper. Again, just like at the rear, that pushes in to some of the pins. Always a nerve-wracking moment, but that's looking good. And then we will have the front plate. Now you can see this plinth comes on all cars. It had that extra bracket drilled onto it so that it can hold a German plate. In Germany, the way the tin plates go on is a little bit different, but here we can put it straight onto this. So the plate itself has some sticky tape on the back of that, which will then go onto there. And again, it's quite easy actually to line it up when you've got the plinth to help. It just curves around at the front, which you've got to watch out for and make sure it's stuck down properly. And that won't be coming off, well, again, anytime soon. Front plate time then, which can be mounted straight onto that plinth. It actually helps get the angle. And yes, there we have it, into place. Number plates front and rear, now worn by the SLS Black. Nice, we're gonna move the car before starting work on the detailing stages of the interior, just to get it all fully tidied up and ready before this thing's going to be ready to go on outside. I say ready, obviously the one touch still missing, which is really bugging me. I know it's a very small detail, we'll get that sorted before long, and then it will be into action and yeah, ready to go properly. The car is currently undergoing completion. One flick is already back on, but it is time to get this other piece, which of course weighs next to nothing, given that it's made from carbon fiber. This will be mounted over on this side and attached properly, so that's coming up next. And then going from there, let me give you this, and that will be back into place. This one is now fully installed. The other one is getting PPF. Of course, having just done these, they need to be PPF'd and protected as well. Quite a vulnerable area given the potential for stone chips at the front, but these are looking much, much better than they did before, where of course the lacquer has been redone given how many stone chips they had kind of picked up over time and how I had chosen, well, not to do them, which was probably a mistake. The other thing I chose not to change, which I'm now thinking of changing, is this underneath protector at the front, which has clearly been bought at some point in the past and could do with a small refresh, so I might get that changed when I go and order the new replacement badge as well. Something to get sorted in the future. The other thing that's being done at the moment is all the interior cleaning, obviously going into all of the nooks and crannies around the door shuts, for example, the windows, all of those kind of things. And yeah, just working through the processes of getting this completed and finally ready to take on out. This is the absolutely torturous bit, trying to remove the Unveiled zone sticker, which of course is connected to the previous German registration, which does not come off easily. They don't make these a doddle to remove. Fast forward after quite a bit of work, and the guys have managed to take out the Unveiled zone sticker, so much better there now. The interior has of course had a hoover up as well. Obviously my stuff taking up some space. Everything in the boot was taken out to get that cleaned up, and this thing is looking fabulous. It is time now to take this car outside, an inspection out in the sunlight. Back into life. This is looking so good. So we get outside, we'll see it emerging into the light. In fact, I'm going to kind of run ahead a little bit so we can see this. And out it comes. Look at how the colour changes. The colour comes completely different when it's got the bright sunshine on it. And this is the one fairly stupid thing I said actually when I collected the car on a sunny day, and I said it looks darker wearing sunglasses. I meant the shade of the colour looks darker. It looks like a genuinely different colour of blue or purple if you have sunglasses on as opposed to not. Not just that it's obviously darker because sunglasses are tinted, it's actually looking a different colour car. But this thing is so cool. I mean, look at this, look at this. Wow. It is time then to head on out, but just quickly before we do, we have the GT2RS MR, the Manthey Racing full package GT2RS. I'm going to be leaving the Supra there for now. I will come back to get that shortly, and I am going to step on board the SLS Black to take this out for its first drive in Mystic Blue. The first time getting behind the wheel of my now perfectly clean, very shiny SLS Black Series. This is so stupidly exciting. All right then, let's do this. Let's head on out. It is not exactly going to be the longest drive, just a couple of miles from here to the Mercedes dealer to go and get that side of things sorted out. Obviously, left-hand drive car here in the UK, which is totally fine, by the way. A few people have asked me about this. In fact, there are quite a few left-hand drive cars here in the UK, although right-hand drive is normal because we drive on the left. Left-hand drive isn't totally alien. It's not a completely unknown thing. I guess we grow up here knowing that most countries are left-hand drive, so we kind of get used to it. And obviously, in the case of this one, it's going to be doing most of its driving around the continent. It's going to be going to America, hopefully, basically driving in places where left-hand drive ends up making sense. But this is the first time for me actually driving it in Mystic Blue. Oh, I just turned on the speed limiter by mistake. So, while it might sound obvious, I haven't been behind the wheel for about 2 months, since obviously, maybe even more than that, since it went for paint, since obviously it's now come back, and yeah, just being back behind the wheel is definitely putting a smile on my face. I am looking forward to what's in store in the future with this car. It just feels angry, and in fact, let's put the gearbox into manual. One of the beautiful things, of course, is that it's already run in because I bought a used car, which means even though this is, well, I have driven it. I've driven it about 500 miles to go to Chartwell and back and things, and to go to the import, but this is, well, this is kind of the first time, I guess, getting to enjoy it and not be too worried about it. So we're in manual. Let some of that V8 rumble away. What a soundtrack. This isn't really the first proper drive. We will have a first proper drive getting out of the city. This is what you always have to watch out for though, because that's the awkward blind spot. But for the moment, I mean, yes, it's the UK. Only 4,000 RPM. It sounds so good. I just realised that this is actually a bit of a test for the car, because of course this is the first time that it's been driven since it was fully dismantled. Now, a lot of people were trying to put fear in my heart as to what the car was going to be like having had the respray, but there are no funny noises. It's all sounding good, which is exactly how it should be, and exactly what I expected by taking it to Chartwell. That's why I chose them, because, safe to say, they know a thing or two about dealing with very, very high-end cars like this and making sure that they're all done correctly. At the Mercedes-Benz parts then, and good news, we have a new badge, which is the correct badge. The Black Series 1 lines up to this perfectly. It is clearly more vertical than that one. I just think they updated it somewhere about 5 years ago, so we've now got the right one, and I'm going to go get these swapped around at Topaz to it properly, and then we'll get the Black Series badge onto the Black Series. I'm not sure if I ever said, by the way, but I absolutely love this car. Listen to a downshift. I am going to enjoy driving this so much over, well, not even just like the next year or something, as long as I've got this car. It's savage! And it's going to get even better when it's been to Rentec. Prepare yourself for a slightly confusing situation. So the car does now have an AMG Black Series badge on the back, but it is still not the correct AMG Black Series badge. Now the car has a bit of sunshine out on it at the moment, parked alongside the 720S right there too. And have a look at this. So what you saw earlier, the AMG badge, was the right one. This is the previous or older one, but I've decided to put it on anyway. The biggest differences are in the A. The newer badge has a vertical line for the right side of the A and a bit more angle for the bars that you have over to the left, but that was impossible to mount with the Black Series badge that we have right now. The system seems desperately confusing and we can't quite work out what it's supposed to be, but this is, I would say, probably the badge from the CLK 63 Black, that kind of thing, previous generation. It looks pretty cool for the time being. I will get it changed when I've worked out exactly what we need to get, but the parts on the system are definitely not correct. They tell you all sorts of things that are definitely not the right badges that are supposed to be on this car. Anyway, for the time being, I'm going to hop back in, go home. We will deal with that another day. For the time being though, it is an SLS AMG Black Series. We just need to work out exactly what's going on here at some point soon. One thing that's quite different then today to normally when I'm driving a new to me car away from Topaz is that this is already running. As I mentioned, I bought a used car. It had about 6,500 miles on the clock. It had been fully serviced at Mercedes-Benz in Munich every year without fail, every single service, but it hasn't done that much mileage over the last 2 or 3 years because of being for sale. I guess in the last year of the previous owner's ownership, he didn't really drive it all that much, which means that it's good to kind of warm a car up to find out if there are any niggles, any problems. Don't go straight away and drive, let's say, a lap of the Nürburgring Nordschleife, but it does mean that we can drop down some gears, enjoy some more of this. Yes. This car is silly, and it's going to be so much more silly when we're not sitting in a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit, and it's about to become a 30 as well. Anyway, on the way towards home for the time being with this. And back home where these two very different beasts from a Falter back are sat side by side, the SLS Black Series SH62 MEE and the G63 SH63 MEE. The colour schemes going together very, very nicely. These look awesome side by side, but there are two things about this car. One of them you might notice instantly right now. It currently has some slightly fogged up headlights. Now pretty much most of the cars in my garage do that. It seems to be a problem that plagues just about every high performance car, every kind of hand built car, basically a little bit of condensation. It's not really a problem, it doesn't really bother me, but I know you guys will spot it, and I'm sure you'll spot it in photos as well. It happens to, well, just about everything. The other thing that I think is pretty cool is obviously this is a left-hand drive car, and I haven't exactly got much space there. But what's really awesome about gull-wing doors is they don't actually need that much space to open. We'll turn on the light so that we can actually see something here. The G63 is filthy right now. Pull the handle, open this up, and as you will see, even though, door mirror of the G, even though we have a very tight space, it still opens just fine. In fact, I don't think it would really go over the white line. It's very easy to do that. Gull-wing doors make life quite easy, actually, at the end of the day. So, all done, all back home. A huge thanks to Topaz. In fact, look at this, look at what the colour does when you have light on it. This outside in bright sunshine just looks mega. So yes, huge thanks, great to have this back. I guess from here, a few more things to do. One I have heavily discussed, which is the wheels. They are going to be going silver. One other, I think I've alluded to, the steering wheel. They are actually, the older Mercedes cars are compatible with the newer steering wheels. So watch this space, something's going in this quite soon. But yeah, bring it on. Bring on the ability to go and travel. Bring on the ability to go to the Autobahn, to go to the Nürburgring, to go take it on a road trip. I cannot wait. So thank you very much, as always, for your support, guys. It is really appreciated. But that's it for this time, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.